Okay, hello and welcome to this evening stream. So this evening we're back in Crayta. We're going to be continuing a little bit more game development. So it's a little bit more of a chill stream tonight. I think we're sort of just back in the game we started a couple of weeks ago. So we had our big build jam in Crayta for the Dungeon Master. So I started making a game that was going to take a few of those packages, excuse me, a few of those packages and basically start just throwing them together into a game. So last time we got to a point where we built out a map. We'd used some pretty cool packages to quickly scope out a level. Started adding some interesting gameplay elements. Performance got a little bit choppy because I threw quite a lot in. So between then and now, I've kind of pared it back a little bit. Chopped out some entities here and there, and tried to optimize it a little bit. What I'm thinking we're probably going to do at the start of this stream is a little bit more optimization. Perhaps we might just try and get the entity count down a little bit. I was at about 4,500. I'm now down to nearly 3,000. So if I can just quite quickly get this to beneath 3,000 entities, I think that might be a pretty good way to sort of start hopefully getting the performance up. The game itself seems to run okay. The editor is getting a little bit chunky, and I think that's because it's sort of the size of the world, and so going between play and edit and going into preview is taking a little bit of time. So that's part of the problem. I think is it's a bit slow to sort of get in. I want to try and speed that up, and hopefully I can do that. One thing I'm wondering is if, because I've got I did this whole thing of like basically both halves of the map are a big kind of master template. I think that might have had an effect on performance because it's having to load these huge templates each time. So what I might do is once I've kind of got to a point where I'm happy with the level layout, I could look at making them not a template by breaking the link, and that might solve that. So yeah, this evening's going to be a little bit kind of just debugging, kind of adding a few more things, just sort of normal game dev stuff. So I'm just happy to be doing it while I'm streaming. So if you do have any questions, if you're in chat, if you've got any question about Crayta, game development, anything like that, feel free to throw them in. Otherwise, I'm probably just going to stick some bit of music on in the background. But yeah, let me know how it kind of audio levels and stuff work out. But yeah, okay. So the first thing I want to do is I'm going to go through and probably have a look at getting the performance down. You can see some frame rate's dropping a little bit here. I mean, the frame rate is a bit slower in the editor anyway, because it's also taken into account the editor itself being a bit slow. But yeah, I think if I can look to get this beneath 3,000 entities to start with, and we'll see what sort of effect that's got. I think I was waiting for about 30 seconds in the past, and I've now got it down to about a 10-second server timeout between preview and stuff, so it's not too bad. Any plans to support custom model uploading? Not currently. It's something we'd love to do. I think it'd be a really big part of kind of Crayta's future. We'll be allowing people to import their own assets, but there's not currently any plans for that to be coming. We have got some really exciting, some really cool stuff coming in the latest update, which will be live shortly, actually. Yeah, within the next several weeks, it's going to be live. But yeah, so do keep an eye out for that. It's going to be a really massive, really cool update up and coming, and more teasers and stuff like that coming soon. So if you haven't already, do make sure you join the Discord. It's discord.gg/Crayta, and you can find it obviously on Twitter and Instagram and all the other various places. So yeah, tune in, keep an eye out, because we've got some very cool stuff up and coming. Right, so yeah, let's look. So when it comes to debugging, I think the first thing I always look for when I want to reduce my entity count, this screen is really useful, this performance tab. If you are starting to see frame rate drops, if you are starting to see problems in the game, the first portal call I think is to come here and we can tooltip. Entities affect general game performance on both the server and the client, as well as load times and rendering performance. Fewer is better. Performance impact can be controlled by features like physics or shadows sparingly. Obviously, if everything is overlapping shadows, if everything has physics, even if you only had a quarter of your entity budget, that's going to cause a problem. So it's about using those things within reason. So even though I'm kind of only at 65%, it's quite a high entity count, and I do want to try and keep that down, especially if I do want to add more to it. I'm thinking I might find some of the Dungeon Master trap packages useful. maybe add some traps around. So, okay, so the first one, the types. Types gives you a pretty good breakdown. Music's pretty loud. Cool. Thank you very much. The music will sort of dip in and out. It kind of goes through different genres of music, so it's probably not anything at the minute, but yeah. Okay, thank you. Orders, yeah. So, hopefully it's a bit better. Cool, so we can see at the minute we currently have 184 lights, 152 which are shadow casting. That's quite a lot of lights. Although that won't be really affecting the load time. That'd be more if my runtime performance was poor. 152 shadow, yeah. So I must stress, I think I did turn a lot of shadows off, although I'm not entirely sure. But all of these shadow casting lights are. Is it all of these braziers? I think I turned a lot of the shadow casting lights off. There's still some braziers. Right, yeah. So I remember I sort of had 2 in every room, didn't I? I think I kind of did opposite corners that were shadow casting, because then I made it so they at least weren't overlapping. So none of these should really be overlapping, which is a big thing. Because you've got quite a few effects, quite a few voxel meshes and stuff, but obviously 2,000 meshes. Then I might think, okay, well, what about my templates? Okay, well, I can see that most of my templates live within my 2 main halves of the map, which makes sense. That's making up a big chunk of it. The rest of it's fairly small, kind of reasonable amounts of entities. So obviously our main offenders are kind of my 2 halves of the map, each one having about 1,500. So then assets is a really good one. So you can quite quickly see from here how many of certain assets are being used. So there's 164 braziers you can see around. There are 336 stone bridge fence pieces. So if I come up to here, I can see here that I've got a lot of stone bridge fence pieces in here. And that's basically each doorway has got a couple in them, which might not be necessary. So what we could try, go into one of these templates, so one of these kind of specific corner pieces. So it's useful for lining up doors. Now I've actually done that, I wonder if I remove them. I think that still works. You know, that doesn't really affect that too much, and we can see very quickly that that's going to start, you know, coming down in terms of how many of these things are being used. Okay, we're at 3,000, so all the corners should be. This one. I did that one, so why did that not inherit that name? Yes, oh no, it must be the other route. So, okay, so let's move this one. So E shape. And obviously each time I'm deleting these, it's deleting it from the template, so all instances of the template. But then also that's for both halves of the map. So yeah, so we can already see that I've just knocked about, you know, another 50 entities off that quite quickly. Okay. getting better. So we've got a lot of tavern columns as well, which we'll have a look at in a minute. But this is always a good exercise. You know, it's definitely worth trying to address performance issues sooner rather than later, instead of letting things perhaps pile up more than they need to. Oh, crash then. Yeah, so instead of, you know, just kind of rolling in and thinking, oh, I'll sort it later, it's always good to take stock kind of while you're building and think, actually, you know, now's a good time to sort of start chopping these out. So yes, these are the columns that are probably causing sort of the problem as well. And again, you know, it is nice to have those things. I'm not sure it's going to have the biggest effect on visual. That could be replaced with a voxel quite easily, like a wooden voxel. And you know, I mentioned this a few times last week, or you know, a couple of weeks ago. But that's one of the nice things, you know, when it comes to working on people's packages, is you do really just get a copy of it. You know, there's no reason why I can't start to change these to work in my game, because these packages are great. Like, I'm not saying that these assets are bad and you need, you know, sort of optimizing. It's more because in this use case I'm trying to use a lot of them. That's when you've got to start thinking about, you know, that sort of stuff. Okay, we're under 3,000, so we're slowly getting there. And you know, I can feel the editor itself starting to just get a little bit more happier. Yeah, I just realised, I think where I copied some of the terrains around and quickly template, that's why it's being cleared with template. But doing it, you know, because I've got two halves of my map that are a template, anything I do here is copying across the other side, and that's why we're getting rid of so many of these entities so quickly, because it's actually duplicating everything we do on the other half of the map. And I think with this stuff as well, you know, a lot of it is worth thinking about in terms of the gameplay. So this is being built into a capture the flag game. Given, you know, running around the sort of the action, a lot of these sort of finer details are going to get a little bit lost because you're not really stopping to look at everything. You're kind of in an action game. If this was an adventure sort of puzzle, explore the map, you know, look at all the details and look for clues, then, you know, you got a bit more chance to study the environment, and, you know, some of these details make more sense. But I'm quite happy for this, that actually I don't need a lot of these. Really starting to bring that entity count down a more manageable. Yeah, a manageable amount that should hopefully start to have an impact on load times. Yeah, I think we're almost there. So one thing I did do before, so I've made some adjustments in here. I've kind of removed, there's a lot of individual voxel meshes around here which look great, but you know, that was a very quick win to get rid of quite a lot of meshes. I've also merged a lot of things back into the parent. So a lot of these columns where before there, so yeah, where before a lot of these things were sort of part of the archway. Break that. But yeah, they were part of like a child kind of a locator, moving them back up to the parent throne room, which is the whole voxel mesh, and merging them back in. Because they're square on the grid, it works fine. So these columns all sort of sit in the room still. Yeah, this is the sort of thing. Actually, I'm going to get rid of these as well. But I mean, it looks great. It's just when you really starting to break the barrel for your sort of entity count, it's worth just get clear. And then I can sell this by sort of breaking it up a little bit. We can do the trick with Ivy, which I've done a few times. Rotal Ivy down to 0.1, and you can broken bits there, and you can kind of very quickly get you sell it as it doesn't matter that it looks blocky, it's actually broken, and this room already has a lot of this Ivy already in it, so it it works quite nicely aesthetically. I merged a lot of this up here, and it wasn't thrilled about it, but again, if I just sort of sell this broken, it a bit more visually interesting. So here I haven't done this one yet, so you can see here it looks great. It's a really nice part of the design, but in case in terms of watching the entity, lots of individual blocks here that all count as an individual entity, and this is in both halves of the world as well, so I leave those. Might leave some. That's going to help. So yeah, 2,700 entities. So we're almost down to 50%, which I'm quite pleased with that. So that's pretty good. Early optimizations, and yeah, to be honest, now I can feel that this is so much more responsive. I'm not losing those frames as I'm flying around. And let's see if I hit preview now. Might still get a server missing just for 5-10 seconds, hopefully. Okay, 14 seconds. Okay, I think I'll take that. I mean, it's definitely better than it was. There's still something to be said about the fact it's having to load in all the templates, and they all still exist. But the game itself feels responsive. We've got pretty good frames there. Yeah, I've got an absolutely solid 16.6, so that's 16 milliseconds per frame, which when you times that up, you're looking at a solid 6 frames. Big room as well. Good, the little hitch then. Dental. Yeah, no, I'm pleased with that. That's running pretty well. All my other things I'm looking for in terms of this, so that's running fine. The GPU, so these are all interesting things to look at. So shadows running at 4 milliseconds is the highest one. That's pretty good. Light complexity. So as long as all of these, combined add up to the 60, sort of roughly looking at, or less than 60, okay. If you start to find your frame rate is really slow, the GPU tabs are really kind of useful part to see where the main offender is. If your widgets is running at 10 milliseconds, you've got 2 screen space widgets being rendered. You might find if shadows is running at sort of 8 plus, or anything higher than this, really, milliseconds, is you've probably got too many overlapping shadows in the world. So it can tell you a lot about how the world. 17 total widgets. That's interesting. So I guess most of them are screen space. Okay. Check to high quality. Oh, that one's good. Okay, we'll go back. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to kind of explore a bit more what I was doing last time, which was adding some more weapons to the game. I was adding some interesting kind of weapon types and tying it into the mighty RPG stuff. So what I'm hoping to do is have it so as the players play the game, they get experience, they can therefore use certain weapons. And what I might do is pull in some loot chests from some of the other packages, the Echo Rock one, Echo Rock and Vicentech, I think it was, that actually won the jam. It's got a lot of really useful kind of little bits for like healing and loot chests and all that sort of stuff. Right, so where was my... Okay, this is my weapon I'll start with. So I've got a crossbow. I guess what I'll probably do is design a few weapons out here, and then we can test those. Probably going to stick to ranged weapons, not get too involved with like the swords and stuff. So what have we got? So we can go to our meshes, our weapon tag. So probably keep it roughly within the fantasy. Add some interesting. I could like dress some weapons up perhaps. Could use some of the staffs to like fire thing, but it doesn't. Might just. I wonder if I could use like the crossbow each time, but like add like kit bash stuff to it to kind of make different types of crossbow. That could work. So, for example, let's place an gun. So this is my gun mesh. So instead of using the gun, I'm obviously going to go for something. So let's make the base of the crossbow. I wonder what I could bash on them. They're not. If you're ever sort of editing and you kind of the entity icons are too big, go to show entity icons, turn that off, and find that makes it a lot easier to sort of be in the editor and actually see what it is you're working with. You know, when you're up and close to something and you've got like a trigger and a locator on it, can be quite intrusive on the screen. So we've got that. So let's make this a fire crossbow. So it could just be a case of adding an effect. So the problem is then obviously once you turn the entity icons off, it's hard to select things like text. Probably be worry about the problem with the fire is it'll be too intrusive on the player. The orbs, magic orbs at the end of them. Maybe get them to actually fire like red projectiles. Change up. I think the combat in a lot of games works quite nicely when it is like projectile based. So this might not be for that. So I don't know. If anyone watching has any ideas, you know, let me know. I'm gonna go with the orb for now. Hi Anaya. We'll call this crossbow fire. So what we can do is we can start to sort of, guess, adjust the stats of it slightly. So the base one does 200. Perhaps you make this one, I guess it makes sense, slightly higher damage, so 300. Got sound. Crossbow. Shots per clip. Could probably buff this, perhaps. That doesn't really make sense, but does more damage, has 3 shots per clip. Fire crossbow. Okay, cool. So then what we can look at, so with the Mighty RPG stuff, is where you can basically determine what is needed. I can see here, I've already said that kind of it needs dex of 2, a kind of fire one, let's say, actually to this, you need a dex of 4. Second one, okay, but go back this one. So because I've made this from a template of gun, if I now make this a template again, we sort of get an inherited template from that. So any changes to gun will affect this, then it's also a template in its own right. And one I think I've called gun fire. This one's like a magic one. Hey Zcod, how's it going? Right, this one higher damage. Again, maybe slightly less shots per clip. Magic crossbow. That's all good, okay. And for this one, yeah, I'm going to say you need 6. So basically, it's just sort of like a progression-based thing. That the more you sink into your dexterity, the better the weapons can be. The health side of it, I've done. I think I did before. I probably need to fix a couple of things actually around that. But the health, increasing your constitution should increase your health. And then there was strength. I wonder what I can do with strength in terms of modification to the game. Maybe it's like a movement speed thing. Okay, so I can test those in a moment. I've currently set it up so when you interact with this coffin, you get a experience boost. I'm going to change that. What's it going to change? No. So at the minute that overlaps with the interact for the Time Lord. But actually, I'm thinking of changing the Time Lord ability to not do the beyond interact. I believe it's just a case of changing ability button here. So if we make that X1, extra one I believe is by default, I think that's Q. That's R. Okay, I want R, so Q. So extra 2. Okay, so let's have a quick preview and let's see how those weapons work, and then we can place some of those around the level. Start with, and that can be basically how you collect those. Ah, no, Q is the character sheet. Ah, okay. That. So get a bunch of XP, level up, level up. I need to make sure you get the XP something. Getting stuff. I also need to make sure scoreboard. Might get rid of this. So like having that. Or might, just how that works, but okay, I put 2 points into dexterity. I haven't updated it. Oh, have you updated it, Drykos? I can probably go in and update that. Okay, I'm thinking this will be the crossbow that everyone just starts with. Right, or maybe everyone starts with a worse one. Okay, a couple of things change. I will update the Time Lord package now. Sounds like a good thing. Scoreboard I need to kind of make a bit smaller so it doesn't collide with character sheet. Have a look. So if I go to my packages, Time Lord rewind, I can see there's an update, so I'm going to grab that. Nice UI, you have to hold the button to use ability so you can actually tie picking up the weapon ability to the same button. Cool, okay. So when I hold it, does that mean I have to hold it and then it activates? Not like while I'm holding it, it runs? I guess I can find that in a moment. Okay, so maybe I will leave it on interact then. Easier button for that. Good. My user wants a crossbow by default. One crossbow. Okay, cool. So let's have a quick look at my player. Because I want to try and make sure I've done everything with each of the things you can get from the Mighty RPG, which is very flexible, but I've set it up for strength, dexterity, and constitution. Constitution being health, dex being how good you are with the crossbow. I guess strength could be my speed. So for example here, I've got like a health bonus per level. I'm going to pull out my con. Yeah, my con level. So I sort of need to do the similar thing on the player itself for speed. So let's add a new script folder. just sort of playing on the whole trade-off of, you know, do you want to be someone who got more health, is faster, has better weapons, and each time you play around, you can kind of tweak different balances. And depending on how well you do, it's kind of got a MOBA feel to it. Okay, speed bonus per level. So how much faster should the player be for every level they've got? This. To get the attributes, go through for strength, not my constitution. Okay, so when this initializes, I'll have my kind of player set speed. So my player speed. So I want to basically get my speed bonus per level multiplied by my strength. So if I'm level 2, I'm going to get a 0.1 times 2 bonus. Speed multiplied by my player will be basically that plus my bonus. That should make some sense. So that will set my speed. So if I do this on init, so when the player initializes, we're going to make sure we set their speed back to what it should be. When I update, yes, I probably want to be patching it. How am I doing it here? So I do it on in, and when I actually update on a level, so basically, yeah, when I put a point into strength, I need to update there and then as well. So do I tie into anything here? I think I do. So I wonder actually if I just do this on. Because that's just going to incrementally increase. I need to do it slightly differently, but yeah, I think let's schedule it. So by doing this, I can basically kind of constantly check. Well, true. Okay, so we're going to always do this. We're going to wait and do it every second. There's better ways to do this, but I think for the sake of sort of on a stream, it's always good to just get something going. I can clean it up later. So I don't want to do this every second because I'm going to basically be constantly updating it by the amount. But what I probably need to do is to snapshot what this was at the start. My start speed is that, so that's 1. Start speed equals bonus speed. So that will always come out as 0.1, 0.2, 0.3. That will always be 1, so that will be fine. Whereas what I had before would have always said, you know, sort of my speed multiplier plus the bonus speed could be 1.1. Save that. Next time it'll go, okay, well now it's 1.1 plus 0.1, so you can get it every second. It will get bigger and bigger and bigger. So that should hopefully solve that, and we should be looking now at basically an automatic speed increase every time we put a level into speed. And I guess just to test that, let's output what we get there. So speed, what is our speed every second? Okay, I didn't have these didn't spawn before. I guess that's I haven't changed the pickup logic. Try this. Oh yeah, nice UI. I can straight away. I've got the nice bar in the middle. Quite much better. Speed 1, so that's good. Okay. Nice. I've picked up a fire crossbow. Dex level 4 required. Dex level 4. I can open my character sheet. I can add a couple of points into that. I can now fire my basic crossbow. I guess should fine by. I guess I don't want to use the same button actually. It gives me that sort. It is trying to do the Time Lord. I mean, there's plenty of buttons I can use for Time Lord. That's fine. Run out of time. Okay. Let's see, actually, I'm curious to see if when I respawn, if I actually have my stats. I don't have my inventory. That's one thing I do. No, okay, so stat clearing. I'm now level 6, so I should be able to use. Oh, get that triple fire effect. That. Oh, okay. We've got Time Lord. I can't use them yet. That Time Lord ability is so cool. It looks so good. Okay, right, let's go back. Fix those things. I guess one thing I'm going to want is a use on collision. Probably makes more sense actually. delete these. So that's just the one I start with. That's fine. Got the fire one. X level 3 required, and make it so you can collide with it. Yep. Same with the magic. Use on collision, and I think I just changed the text before I actually check. Yeah, I didn't actually change the dex level, so I just changed it. There we go. Okay, so both level 3, that's good. Oh, I didn't speed, that's okay. Forgot I had an effect sound for cooldown, that could be annoying when picking up. Yeah, I think I'll probably just change the thing. So Q for the character sheet, or for that. For the reload, I guess is going to be 2 reload. I guess I might make it extra 1 actually. I don't think you're ever going to really reload the crossbows because I know some of them have 3 shots, but it looks okay. You end up reloading as you go back, perhaps, but I think that works out. So okay, that right. So let's get our inventory clearing. How are we going to handle that? So there's 3 slots currently. Guess one of the ways to do that is on the user. You can say to replace this item if full. So if you want a new item, it just cycles out the last one. On spawn, on user died. Here, just binding that to say that's not one. Well, that's one way. Basically, reset the inventory, clear it. Actually, I don't want to clear it when you die because that'd be annoying. You have to pick up one of the crossbows that you've kind of sunk points into every time. But it does make sense though to clear that on a new round. So if we go to the game controller on round end, let's add an event on the user. Story script reset. I should reset on the inventory. The other thing was the stats. I wonder if there's a good ICRPG character. And work way through these, but yeah, I'm hoping there's going to be an easy way. That one. But just save it. I wonder if I just save that. function. It looks like what this will do is basically reset this. If I just basically throw that into like this, that. Oh. The attributes. If I put there, that then gives me a function. It's not the init function. I might be able to bind into, so that's on the player, isn't it? So on round end. So that's on you. Reset. I'm thinking what that's going to do is that's going to reset my table. Let me just check. I think I've also unchecked about persist, so it shouldn't be trying to save. Persist progress, so it shouldn't be trying to save progress between sessions. But what I'm doing is forcing it to also not save it literally rounds. Well, let's try that. Okay, cool. So I can use my starting by good. I just tried to reload out of habit, but that's that. Hey Vilvis. Okay, so we get a bunch of XP. Dexterity, I'm going to put strength. So it should hopefully be seen. Yeah, cool. 1.1 speeds. I'm getting slightly faster. Maybe 0.1's a bit harsh. Maybe. Cool. And okay, so what I need to find out now is I guess my inventory. I can't really test because I haven't got anything to pick up, but you'll hopefully see that when I respawn, I'm back to 0, 0. Okay. I have reset my speed 1. So it's almost like the UI doesn't know. Okay. So once I got some XP, it refreshed the UI. It did reset. The UI didn't know that it had reset. So that's. 1 second. I'm going to open one of my windows. Getting back to that nice warm springtime in the UK. Where it's muggy in the evening. Okay, cool. So that should sorted that. I guess what I need to do is just check about updating the UI as well. That's about the damage. just closed all these scripts a moment ago. Probably. Character script. Apply points changes. So that's when I'm applying local receiver. So that's where it's getting. I guess it only does that stuff. Handy new find all. There's a lot more to dig into with this. But I think I know, like, kind of roughly the area that the problem's going to be, and it's going to be to do with when it sort of gets retrieved, when it retrieves the attributes. So where does it request the attribute? And then does that on init? Okay. Let's see where else that. Well, I could try just something on there. Let's try it. Send to my local. Okay, because that's all that's doing over here is it's just fetching that those same attributes. But reset my data for me. Let's see. So I'm resetting the data. Hopefully that's the UI taken care of. Let's place some crossbows around. And again, let's do this in our template for the map because that's basically given us what we need. Then what I might do is I might look at adding some traps. I think that'll make the map just a bit more varied, interesting. Yeah, I need to make sure the experience is distributed. Kills and captures are not just from interacting with that coffin, which I need to make sure I remove. That. Right. Not much point in place. That might as well only across stuff. It's a little bit slow to be adding stuff on click, and I think that's just partly down to size of template. Dot them around in various places. And actually, quite good. One thing I always try and make sure I do with pickups is make sure they spin. I think just having that rotate time on a pickup just makes it really clear it's select. It's not necessarily part of the static environment. So that's okay. Some weapons scattered around. Do health, speed boost. The speed boost I think I might increase slightly. Okay, XP. So let's check where we're up to. I think I might have added something already. If I remember. Probably not. No, okay, let's add it here. So we do know who killed a player. So what we can do is on a kill, what we can check. So if from entity character, I guess if we do add traps, we want to make sure that traps aren't earning XP. That doesn't make sense. But if the from entity is a character, so what has killed this player character, then XP. Let's add a XP kill. I guess let's start with a random 200. Something like that. So you probably want to get people earning XP quite quickly at the start so they can feel powerful quite quickly. How are we doing it? Use XP. From entities and scripts, receive experience. XP. Okay, and what we can also do here is probably tie in, give them battle pass stuff as well. So there's a lot of challenges, things already added. Kill player is already in. In fact, we've probably already, must be capturing that elsewhere. Interesting, actually. Let's see where that is. Kill dash. So that's doing it in the crosshair script. I'm going to leave it where I put it for now, but we are already capturing that. Well, so it is always worth remembering to tie back into the Crayta activities. Challenges are a really good way to sort of engage with Crayta as a platform and get people earning XP. The battle pass through your games. That, I guess, on a capture as well. I'll make sure you get some good XP if you actually perform a capture, and that should hopefully encourage people to play the objective. Go for the flags. So let's think. Yes. Flags spawner probably holds some logic. Okay, so at this point we know the flag was captured. Player entity, we know the player who was carrying the flag. So again, we've already got the user entity there, so should be able to do user entity send to scripts. So this is the user entity who has captured the flag. Let's all in-game XP. 500 for now, which is sort of worth, let's say 600, it's worth 3 kills. Do it now before I forget. Move that script. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so that's if I find actually just see him on fire. Let's say maybe the template is still set to spawn after him. Oh no, there's one. Okay, yeah, I need to. They're still spawning, aren't they? Interesting. I wasn't picking up the flag, but I also wasn't getting any notification. Try and capture again. See what. Well, it's nice. My inventory cleared. So. It's quite easy to get lost in it. I think it's. Yes. Of course, right. Okay, I need to make the rounds longer. I think, yeah, so the problem I was having, I guess I was running onto my own. I don't think I went through the courtyard last time. Running on my own flag and it wasn't telling me. I wonder if I need some sort of I've got that UI I made a while ago which tells you where things are. I think having a indicator for where the objective is would be useful. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I was team. That's my flag. What did I say a minute ago I was going to fix? Slightly longer round. Minute. Seems like it's picking up the wrong name. I wonder where it's. I noticed in the UI it was calling it a guns. Interesting, because I've definitely renamed it. See if I change the icon. See if it picks that change. I'm wondering if it's taking it from the parent for some reason. Okay, right, I'm going to test a couple of things there then. I want to get some XP because I want to see if I'm getting the ways properly. Here's my courtyard. Yes. Okay. Yeah. It's like I'm starting to learn my own. I haven't got any XP yet. I wonder, yeah, maybe some actually like XP for getting good. Write that down because you know I'm like, yeah, preview to go back. I have no idea what I'm gonna do. So yeah, I think picking up the air flags, getting to the flag is an achievement. 600 XP, level 2, cool. So then I can put some 1 point into that. That's the one thing trying to get the max HP. I guess I could check my TRPG updates. Yeah, it might be an update that's already come in. Maybe 0.2 is too much. Probably very quickly get too fast. But yeah, if you just sunk loads of points into that, you could get up to like ×2. You see, maybe 0.1 speed boost is worth it. Because you put 5 levels into that, you're going to be running at 1.5 pretty quick, but you've then lost out on health boost stuff as well. So a lot of this, would come down to balancing in terms of like how much XP you get for stuff in a 5-minute round, ideally. Which kind of ties in nicely, perhaps, to Andy's latest tutorial, which was about game balancing. Ah, cool. Yeah, I think it worked. That little UI fix I did, because I realised now. Yay, my UI is reset. Cool. Okay, that's sorted. Right, I think we're getting close to a point where this could probably be published and we can get some bodies in and we can really start to get a feel for what works, what doesn't work. Another thing I just thought is on the Time Lord ability, it'd be good if the prompt appeared. Not sure there's anything in here for the prompt. Yeah, there, Drycosis could be a pretty handy little thing to add, which should just work. If people have the prompts installed, it will work. If they don't, functions sort of get ignored. So ability rewind, get button prompt. So this is called from the prompts on the user automatically. Oh, my script. My script is dated. I wonder if that's because I might have some changes to it. Which I do. What? Oh, I think, and the only changes I've got are probably the things that we spoke about on the stream last time. I'm going to revert this back to what the package should be. Close that. Open it. Okay, still doesn't have anything to do with prompts. I don't know if you're expecting prompts to appear. Definitely up to date now. But yeah, I'll add this function anyway. It's pretty good example of doing this. So function ability bind. Just a charging timer. Oh, okay, cool. Okay, get button prompts. So what this is this is actually a table that is passed from the user. So it's basically saying these are all the prompts that I've gathered so far. But it's going through every script on the player, every script on the user, every script on the children of the player. So things like guns. Basically trying to work out what does this thing want the player on. So we can add a prompt here. It's worth bearing in mind this is called on local. So this is actually called on local client. So it can't access things that the server knows unless it's property. So we want to add it to the visual audio section. Oh, that's more. I guess I'll add a list. Why? Keep it on point. Even though it's not my script, I mean, kind of when you're working in someone else's script that you've got a copy of, it's still nice to formatting that they've done. So message. Text. So this is the text that's going to go alongside message. We know our ability button up here. So what we can actually do is typically what we'd say is something like prompts dot interact equals message, and that says, okay, well, the interact part of the prompts, i.e. press interact button, do whatever the message says. Because this can be defined by the player, what you can actually do here is access this table slightly differently with the curly braces. So because we can pass a string in here, and again what we say is interact like that, because that can be defined by the, we simply self.property ability button. Okay, so whatever we type in as our ability button, so in this case actually it's extra 1, that will automatically go to the correct prompt. That's my use message. So another thing we can do, I don't know if it's set up to know this on the local client, local on tick self on cooldown. Cool. Okay, so it looks like it does know when it's on a cooldown. So actually, you can put this behind an if statement. So if self cooldown equals false, then. Okay, so what we're saying is only actually show the prompt when we're not on a cooldown. When you see the cooldown, or sorry, when you see the prompt, you know it's a button that you can hit and use. So having contextual prompts is really important. It's a really good way to sort of show that you can kind of contextualize prompts to the player to kind of make it clear what they can and can't do at any given moment. Viewing time. Rewind time. So that will come up now and it will say press R, press the R. Fine. I'm going to go to my gun template and make sure I might have a message. In fact, gun script, it might be hard coded in. The get point prompts, you can see it's doing the exact same function, same prompts. Kind of hard coding in against extra one. I'm just going to remove this bit because actually I don't really want a prompt about reloading. I want to use that button purely for rewinding time. That's not stopping plays from reloading, it's just not going to be prompting them about it. I want to give you some XP when you pick up the flag. So pick up flag spawner script. So this is where we have picked up the flag with the player. So again, quite simple. We know the player that's just started holding the flag. So let's find our code here. Experience. Okay, XP per pickup. Make that a bit less. I guess we'll make it half. 300 for picking it up, 600. Actually, that's almost 1,000 XP for both, I guess, picking it up and then capturing it. Okay, a few more bits of cleaning up and then I'll look to get this published and we can jump in, have a quick play before we wrap this stream up for the evening. 5-minute play time. Okay, let's quick preview, and then what I'll do is I think I'll publish this. We'll see if anybody's around and wants to jump in. Give it a quick go, and then we'll probably wrap this up for the evening. But hopefully, what this is sort of showcases that it is really quite sort of easy to throw levels together and get some gameplay going with a few different interesting things from recent build jam. So there's a lot of packages I've not explored at all. I've spent a lot of time kind of fiddling with code, and again that kind of highlights that what you get out of the build jam isn't just, you know, here's the thing, use it. It's here's the thing, customize it, tweak it, you know, really define it whatever you want it to have. Cool. So I can see I've got my prompt there. I've got to press R to rewind time. If I do that, oh, I've broken some. Turn to index field charging sound and value. Or have I just broken? Thought that. So all I want to do really is go and grab the flag, see if I get some XP. Look at what I've done. Oh yeah, work out what I've done with that time. Must have cleared an attribute by mistake. $300 XP. Cool. Pretty good. Right, so let's work out what I've done. Rewind time. Maybe remove it and add it back. I just install it on a blank template. Works. The charging sound is charging sound template. If I did read. I guess the question is charging sound it's trying to spawn some. That's be nil. There is no charging sound template. Unless I'm missing something, I wonder if that's an issue with the update. Maybe remove it and add it back. I just installed it on a blank template and it works. I spawned it because I can't attach it to a script folder. Yeah, I see. I just wonder what charging sound template should be. It doesn't seem to actually be linked to no template. Electric sound. I do have electric sound template. Maybe that's the one. Yeah, I wonder if I'd accidentally cleared that or something, but then I didn't want to just revert the template because I've made you lose those. But yeah, maybe that was really my mistake. Add some data. Rewind time. Cool. Okay, yeah, that seems to work nicely. And then you can see my prompts disappeared because sound's running. I get my sound disappeared, which is a really nice little bit of UI. Kind of makes it super clear there's a cooldown running. That just get my prompt back. Go. Nice, cool. I think that's going to do. I think let's go back and I'm going to publish that. So if anybody's around and does fancy jumping in for a quick round or two, we'll just have a quick. I'm not expecting it to work. There's going to be little issues here, but I'm kind of interested to see what sort of horrendous bugs fall out of this, or gameplay things, what we could add. Sometimes just playing the game really gives you a quick indication of what sort of stuff you might be missing. Publish. Dungeon run. Yeah. I'm going to leave the description. I'll probably end up unpublishing this at the end of the stream. But just figured, get some people in. We've had a couple of streams worth of stuff added to it. So yeah, now's a good time to check it out. Right. So let's jump play. Latest updated game in Crayta Dungeon Run. Yeah. How this goes. I'll jump out and get a share code in a moment if anyone wants to join in. Wait, it gets me a server, and then yeah, as I say, we'll be wrapping this up shortly. I've probably left it so it's only one player around. Okay, so let's create a share link. Okay, there's a link there in chat, so feel free to jump in if you want to. If not, I'm going to get a feel for the level. Bit more. So it's always worth bearing in mind that when you preview a game, it's slightly different when you publish a game. So when you publish a game, it is good to kind of get a feel for how it's going to feel. You know, things might load slightly differently. Yeah, there are some unforeseen things. Okay, we've got a bit of a 2v1 going here, so let's go. So instantly, kind of I'm already seeing here, like I can see a health bar through the level, so that's probably something I might want to address. Kind of gives away position a little bit. Look great, especially when you've got a lot of players in, so there'll be some settings for that. Might use that. I got a lot of hits, actually. Kill people, that's going to be. Oh, interesting. I died while I was rewinding. I was going to see if I could like get behind you then, dry case. The rewind ability, yeah, really opens up some interesting elements. So I'd be interested to see if people can start using that rewind for things not shooter based, like maybe an obby. It's a very Prince of Persia thing. What you could do with that. Not doing. Something about the single fire crossbow sort of lends itself to like quite satisfying gunplay. Right, now we can push. Not. What I need to do, get one more kill and I can start putting some points. Abilities. I think my initial note is that the crossbows lend themselves to some pretty fun gunplay, but it is a bit slow. You sort of want a little bit more impact on the damage. It's kind of tricky to hit, so you don't want it to take 5 hits to kill someone. You sort of want 2 or 3 tops. Well, those critical hits are satisfying. That's a good chunk of health. Oh, there's a bug. So I've now accidentally picked up too many guns, and there aren't any default guns on the level to pick up. I need to go get some XP. Okay, yeah, that's a bug. So by adding default guns back in, I'll actually be able to up. Quickly. Okay, and there's a balancing issue there. I guess it's a little bit frustrating that I've leveled up. I haven't actually got any benefit from that. I think more weapon types. I have 3 guns I can't use. Yeah, I've just realised that. Like, you can accidentally pick up guns you can't use. And there's no way to reset. I guess on round reset, you'll actually clear your inventory. But yeah, probably need to make sure there's default guns to pick up on the level as well. Okay, we'll have another quick round. There's 6 of us here, so we'll have a quick 3v3. See if we can get, some good good like testing out of this. I always run this way around, and I don't know why, because I know this is the longest way around to get to that court. Oh, that was nearly like 4 crits in a row. Going back to safety. Come on, I was getting really good hits a second ago. So it's almost like this is always going to form like a kind of battleground in the middle, and there's sort of like if you can push through the side. I think from a map design point of view, it's quite satisfying. I wonder if stopping you from picking guns up when you haven't got the right level is more better, like rather than just saying, no, you can't use this when you try and fire it. It's actually like you can't pick it up. That'd be a bit better. More so getting the feel that you're never going to really get enough XP in time. You're going to get a couple of people get really far ahead, so there's a balancing thing there of probably slightly longer rounds, or yeah, like kind of really lowering that time to kill. I think at the minute it takes too long to get kills. So Odyssey's going to be quite far ahead now with like 1000 XP. I won't kill. I guess you'll be updating. I can probably use good crossbows now. Yeah, there we go. And then instantly killed. So there's going to be a lot of players stuck on a lower level crossbow. I guess you get 1 or 2 people get up to the high level damage and suddenly just start like storming ahead. Tricky balancing thing, but I think it starts to show the depths of what you can do with Crayta, and you can start to have very complex systems introduced into games. I mean, what I've done feels fairly basic. It's only taken me I'm about 3 or 4 hours into the game, and the fact that this has only taken me 3 or 4 hours is kind of crazy. designing a whole level, adding gameplay, adding guns, adding all sorts of stuff. You know, a lot of it was done for me with packages, a lot of it was done for me with the starter template. But you know, this is very much my own game. It's very specific what I wanted to make. It kind of has its own flavour, so yeah, it's very cool. Oh, mega cannon. I can quickly grab the flag. No, mind. So I guess, yeah, part of this is what is quite nice is knowing that the flag's worth more points, which is something I can try and signpost. You know, it's a good way to force players to play the objective. A lot of the time with this capture the flag game, you could quite easily just get distracted in trying to get kills and not think about the flag. Whereas being rewarded by being a better player, by, you know, leveling up, having got the flag, you know, it's quite a good way to sort of force that objective. So okay, I'm quite satisfied with that. I think that works pretty nicely as a kind of a short proof of concept of the game. There's a lot I can add to this, so perhaps we'll try and do a bit more streaming in that sort of area in the future. But yeah, it's a pretty cool game. I'm quite pleased with that, and something, as I said, definitely like to add more to. But we are out of time for this evening. So I want to thank everybody for tuning in. I say these streams are a little bit, you know, they are quite casual. It's just me sort of talking through my thoughts for a couple of hours. So it's, yeah, not, you know, the most interesting, but hopefully there are some kind of useful bits that people can find from this, and just some insight into how I at least approach making games in Crayta. So yeah, if you're watching this sort of as the archive and you have any questions, then do make sure you throw those into the comments below. We do check the comments on all the live streams, so yeah, let us know what you think. As always, make sure you do like the video, and yeah, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. If you haven't as well already, make sure you do join our Discord. It's discord.gg/Crayta. Very exciting couple of weeks coming up. There's a whole host of new things that we're going to be doing in Crayta. So yeah, do make sure you stay tuned to find out more. If you're interested in game development, Andy's been doing some really cool streams and workshops. So there's a lot you can learn about making games from Crayta, not just making games in Crayta, but just game development in general. So some really cool stuff coming up. So yeah, make sure you do stay tuned for all of that. AJ will be back tomorrow with another play along stream. So if you do like playing games in Crayta, not so much creating, but just playing, then tomorrow is the stream for you, because AJ will be playing a bunch of new and updated games with all the share codes and stuff for you to join in and be live playing with him on stream. So yeah, pretty cool, good fun. Do make sure you tune into that. And yeah, we'll see you tomorrow.